Hello everyone and a warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the AM News here on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe, reminding our viewers that we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, has formally commissioned its national secretariat in the Wuse 2 district of Abuja. The unveiling ceremony attracted party leaders, supporters, youth groups, and civil society representatives. Political correspondent Ubong Usoro reports.
The African Democratic Congress, a coalition of politicians opposed to the ruling All Progressive Congress, says the new national headquarters reflects its renewed commitment to transparency, political education, and inclusive governance. National Chairman David Mark explained that the facility will serve as an operational hub for grassroots mobilization, policy coordination, and nationwide campaign activities.
I want ADC to be able to win elections, and we can only do that if we are united. There is no other language apart from unity.
Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi said the space is more than an office, adding that the Secretariat stands as a symbol of the ADC's determination to rebuild trust, promote transparency, and strengthen the core values of peace and accountability in Nigeria. He said the ADC is prepared to provide purposeful leadership.
The African Democratic Congress is the tenant of this building.
The national chairman, David Mark, further emphasized that AADC is repositioning itself to offer Nigerians a credible political alternative rooted in integrity, citizen participation, and issue-driven politics.
This ADC is a historic child of necessity inspired by people's desire for good governance and service to the people.
The African Democratic Congress also used the commissioning to call on the Independent National Electoral Commission to intensify electoral reforms that promote transparency, inclusiveness, and voter confidence ahead of future polls. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News, Abuja.
Thank you, Ubong. Factions of the People's Democratic Party, backed by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has announced that an emergency meeting of the party's Board of Trustees and National Executive Committee will hold today. A notice issued by a factional National Secretary, Samuel Ayau, and shared by Media Aid to FCT Minister Larry Olayinka on his X handle, says both meetings are scheduled to hold at the PDP's National Secretariat in Abuja. The federal government has signed a memorandum of understanding with the United Nations Development Programme to mobilize resources for strengthening democracy across West Africa. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, says the MOU aims to address emerging challenges to democratic institutions while supporting countries in building resilient systems that serve citizens more effectively. Ubong Usoro was there for Global Television.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, says the Regional Partnership for Democracy is a forward-thinking, African-led initiative designed to fortify democratic practices such as free speech, representation, inclusive governance, civic engagement, and regional dialogue. He underscored Nigeria's commitment to the initiative, emphasizing the importance of deeper regional cooperation and the potential of the partnership to strengthen electoral systems, boost civic participation, and support peace-building efforts across West Africa.
Democracy flourishes most sustainably when it is rooted in African values and attuned to local peculiarities or idiosyncrasies.
Country representative of the United Nations Development Programme, LC, at Tafwa, reaffirms UNDP's commitment to inclusive governance, citizen-centered democracy, and supporting African-led solutions that strengthen political stability.
Today's milestone signals that Nigeria is not only shaping the regional democratic landscape, but also charting a path for Africa-led, Africa-owned transformation.
Also speaking, Chairman of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Tura, called for democracy to be practiced the right way in the sub-region, stressing accountability, respect for the rule of law, and adherence to constitutional order.
It is being launched at a time when the social contract between the state and the citizenry is unraveling at the seams because of democracy as practiced in Africa and in our sub-region is notoriously thin on delivering on dividends.
The meeting observed that the ECOWAS region is still grappling with issues ranging from voter apathy to declining trust in democratic institutions. It emphasized that partnership offers a pathway to reinforce governance structures, promote closer cooperation among member states, and support the consistent protection of democratic values across West Africa. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
Let's turn to other stories for you now. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to accelerating universal health coverage through reforms focused on equity, resilience, and innovation. Permanent Secretary at the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Daju Kachalam, stated this at the 66th meeting of the National Council on Health in Calabar, Cross River State Capital, themed My Health, My Rights, Accelerating Universal Health Coverage through Equity, Resilience, and Innovation. The federal government has opened the application portal for the newly launched 50 million Naira Student Venture Capital Fund, a flagship initiative designed to turn student-driven ideas into commercially viable, high-impact ventures. In a statement, Director of Press and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Education, Folashade Boriowo, said successful applicants would also benefit from a comprehensive support ecosystem. Boriowo also noted that the program includes expert mentorship from seasoned entrepreneurs and industry leaders, as well as full access to tools, platforms, and resources required to develop and scale their startups. The Federal High Court says it will commence its Christmas vacation on December 19. The court's Director of Information, Dr. Catherine Christopher, in a statement in Abuja, said court sittings would resume in all judicial divisions on January 7, 2026. Director of Information also stated this, that's in accordance with a circular duly signed by the Chief Judge, Justice John Soho. Federal civil servants have called on the federal government to urgently clear the outstanding 3 months of the 35,000 Naira wage award, citing the rising cost of living and the critical role the arrears play in alleviating financial pressures. The wage award, negotiated with labor unions in 2023, was intended as a temporary cushion to ease workers' burdens during government's ongoing economic reforms. At the time, labor unions had threatened nationwide strikes if their demands for improved compensation and cost of living adjustments were not met. The National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, has released the deployment details for its 2025 Batch C prospective corps members. The scheme announced these via its official X handle, confirming that call-up letters are now available, noting that some prospective corps members posted to Lagos and the Federal Capital Territory have been assigned to undergo their orientation in neighboring states. NYSC noted that some prospective corps members deployed to Lagos states have their orientation course in Ekiti, Kwara, Ondo, Ogun, and Osun camps, while some deployed to FCT will be in Kaduna, Niger, and Nasarawa camps. Across Nigeria, a growing wave of artificial intelligence-generated videos is fueling a new kind of online fraud. From fake celebrity endorsements to fabricated investment adverts, scammers are now using AI-generated videos to deceive unsuspecting members of the public. Global Television's Priscilla Obasi examines this growing trend.
From Nollywood actors to musicians and even religious figures, videos featuring well-known faces are circulating online, but many of them were never recorded by the real people. These videos, created using AI tools and deepfake technology, mimic voices, facial expressions, and speaking patterns to make the content appear authentic. The goal is to trick Nigerians into clicking, investing, or paying into fraudulent schemes. Many celebrities have taken to their Instagram and X to warn their followers, repeatedly debunking fake endorsements and investment adverts created in their names. Cybersecurity experts say the trend is rising, fueled by cheap AI apps that allow scammers to generate convincing clips within minutes. The videos often promote quick investment, fake cryptocurrency schemes, loan apps, or miracle health cures, all designed to exploit trust in familiar public figures. Regulators are also raising concern. According to digital analysts, AI-generated scams are harder to track because the content often disappears quickly, resurfacing under different accounts and pages across social media. Beyond financial losses, experts warn that deepfake technology poses a growing risk to reputation, politics, and national security. As Nigeria continues to embrace digital innovation, stakeholders say public awareness, verification culture, and a stronger cyber laws remains the best against AI-driven deception. Priscilla Obasi, Global Television News.
More like the double-edged side of technology. Thank you so very much, Priscilla Obasi, for helping us uncover this very disturbing side of tech. You're watching the live broadcast of AM News here on Global Television, where the rest of the news returns shortly. U.S. President Donald Trump hints at the possibility of talks with his Venezuela counterpart, Nicolas Maduro. We have that and more stories for you right after this break. Please do stay with us. Let's begin the second part of the news broadcast with business. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says Nigeria's headline inflation rate has dropped to 16.05% in October this year. The NBS disclosed this in its Consumer Price Index and Inflation Report released on its verified X handle. The report states that the inflation rate fell from 18.02% recorded in September. It also says that on a month-on-month basis, headline inflation rose by 0.93% in October. Dangote Petroleum Refinery says the recent downward adjustment in the pump price of premium motor spirits, PMS, by oil marketers was triggered solely by its own decision to reduce petrol prices earlier this month, not by the temporary reversal of the 15% import tariff, as widely speculated. In a statement, the refinery explained that its move to cut ex-depot prices directly influenced marketers' pricing decisions across the country. The company also noted that the recent reduction in PMS pump prices by oil marketers was a direct response to the price cuts on November 6 and not caused by the temporary reversal of the 15% import tariff. And still staying in the sector, the Midstream and Downstream Gas Infrastructure Fund, MDGIF, has concluded discussions with leading Chinese manufacturer Endurance Group to deliver 500 compressed natural gas CNG refueling stations across Nigeria within the next 3 years. Addressing journalists after the meeting in Abuja, Executive Director of the fund, Oluwole Adama, said the talks focused on establishing a government-backed special purpose vehicle, SPV, to be promoted by the fund, the Bank of Industry, Endurance Group, and Sequoia Investment Partners. He announced that the initiative includes the creation of the Compressed Natural Gas Auto-Mobility Infrastructure Company, CAM Infraco, which will oversee the deployment of 500 integrated CNG stations, development of CNG supply infrastructure, and provision of CNG and LNG transportation trucks with truck-mounted cascades to form a nationwide virtual pipeline. Adama also said the project will ease long queues at existing CNG stations by expanding access to refueling points and improving supply through strengthened logistics and distribution systems. Senior Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties and Domestic Affairs, Oluwatoyin Subir, said the project aligns with President Bola Tinubu's drive to enhance energy security by deepening the use of auto CNG and reducing reliance on petrol and diesel, particularly in the transport sector. Chief Executive Officer of Endurance Group, Eric Lin, explained that the SPV aims to build a nationwide CNG refueling, maintenance, and logistics ecosystem by leasing CNG equipment to certified operators and ensuring reliable gas supply through a world-class virtual pipeline network. Let's now take you to the foreign scene, where officials from the United Nations Refugee Agency, World Health Organization, and United Nations Mine Action Service have delivered stark warnings about the deteriorating situation in Sudan. The military and rival paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, went to war in 2023 when tensions erupted between them. The Army and RSF are former allies that were supposed to oversee a democratic transition after a 2019 uprising. The fighting has killed at least 40,000 people, according to the World Health Organization, and displaced 12 million others. President Donald Trump says the United States may open talks with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who faces escalating pressure from Washington amid a massive U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean. Ziral Nasir has details.
It was one of the first signs of a possible path toward diffusing an increasingly tense situation in the region as the U.S. wages a campaign of deadly strikes against suspected drug trafficking boats off the Venezuelan coast and in the Eastern Pacific Ocean. Trump's statement has now provided a ray of hope.
And we may be having some discussions with Maduro, and we'll see how that turns out. They would like to talk. Well, in Venezuela's case, it's about drugs, and it's also about thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that they've released into our country. And some are gang members from Tren de Aragua, some are many are drug dealers, some are murderers. So in the case of Venezuela, it's the prison population. Their almost entire prison population was released into the United States. You know what that means? So they're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. Okay, what about you?
Trump offered no further details about the possibility of talks with Maduro, whom the U.S. has accused of ties to the illegal drug trade, which Maduro denies. Zahra Nasser reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you, Ziral. The United Kingdom has announced new asylum policies that will cut key protections and end automatic benefits for refugees, a major shift aimed at reducing irregular migration. The plan has triggered mixed reactions across London, with many questioning whether it can be enforced fairly. Mukhtar Kasim now reports.
Some residents of London say the policy reflects public sentiment, but warn it could be difficult to implement without undermining dignity or violating international standards. Others doubt that the United Kingdom has the capacity or resources to return rejected asylum seekers, especially with the rising costs nationwide.
So I think it's a fair reflection of what British people want. However, in execution, I don't know how they can correctly do it in a dignifying way, because you see what Trump's doing in the US is a clear violation of human and international law. So it's a clear sentiment in the UK, and it's a step towards a viable solution. But I don't know if doing these measures without any without showing effective step-by-step validated by moral compass And also, in the fact of sending them back, I don't know how logistically it'll be possible. It costs the British taxpayer tons of money in this economy and in this day and age.
I would hope they have a heart for everybody, but it seems that what you've said, they perhaps don't have so much a heart for certain people as for others. The thing is, what I really would like to be dealt with is the people who exploit, the people who run these boats, and they exploit people for money and all the rest of it, and they live a life what I would consider totally inappropriate as to how they earn their living. They're the people I am against.
And there are also concerns about fairness, with some Londoners urging the government to focus more on shutting down human smuggling networks that exploit migrants rather than punishing asylum seekers themselves. As the debate grows, the government faces pressure to balance stronger border control with humane treatment and to prove that the new approach can work in practice, not just on paper. Mukhtar Qasim, reporting for Global Television News.
Let's turn to sports for you. President Bola Tinubu has commended the Super Eagles for their efforts in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, despite their heartbreaking loss to DR Congo in a playoff. The Super Eagles World Cup dream suffered a major blow at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium in Rabat, Morocco, as DR Congo advanced to the Intercontinental playoff following a dramatic penalty shootout. Nigeria had initially gone ahead through Frank Oyenka in the 3rd minute. However, DR Congo equalized in the 32nd minute through earlier extra time, saw both teams create chances, with Tolu Arokodare missing a header for Nigeria and goalkeeper Wambali making a crucial save from a DR Congo free kick. Despite the opportunities, neither side could break the deadlock. Team Nigeria have claimed the best country crown away from the United States, storming to the summit of the 2025 West Park World Scrabble Championship, which ended in Accra, Ghana. From day 1 to day 4, the 15-man Nigerian squad did not just compete, they ruled, turning the Ghanaian capital into a theater of dominance. Captain Rex Ogbakba, Oluwatimileyin Doko, Abdullah Mumin Jimo, Tega Okiemute, and Godwin Victor inspired the conquest for the 15-man Nigerian team, all making the top 20 in the individual honor, which was won by Canada's Adam Logan. Still talking sports, the Nigeria Olympic Committee Sports Administration course for stakeholders across the country has begun. One of Nigeria's leading institutions, Sunshine School in Ibadan, Oyo State capital. The Sports Administration course is an introductory level training program tailored for elected officials and paid staff of national Olympic committees, national federations, club managers, physical education teachers, sports journalists, and other professionals engaged in sports development. Organized by Olympic Solidarity in collaboration with the Nigeria Olympic Committee, Edenas Pro Sports and Sunshine School in Ibadan. The 3-day course is designed for key sports stakeholders, including directors of sports, sports officers, heads of sports departments, sports marketers, and games masters. And that's all we have for you here on the AM News. Thank you so very much for watching. As always, we would love to remind you that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. As always, too, we encourage you to follow us and engage across all social media platforms using at Global TV NG, as well as other handles as you now see on your screen. I'm Uyi Agmofwegbe, send a big thank you to you for watching. Coming up shortly is Global Morning.